Business Sidekick.
Hi guys, it's Justyna, LiveChat writer, and obviously the host of this podcast. In today's episode, I'd like to focus on one of the greatest pain points for all business owners. Our today's question is, how do I get more traffic to my website? How to attract visitors, keep them on a website, and turn them into customers? My today's guest is Anastasia Philopoulos, Shopify's content creator who manages web design and development blog. In today's interview, she reveals the secrets of all these factors that seduce customers, like brand identity, relevant marketing strategy, and elements of a catchy website. Get yourself ready for a big dose of knowledge.
Business Sidekick.
Hi Anastasia, how are you?
I'm good, Justyna. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really excited to have you in my show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right. Can you please tell me something about yourself?
Sure, yeah. So I work for Shopify. I'm based in their headquarters in Ottawa, Canada, which is the capital city. And I run the web design and development blog for Shopify, which basically is for people that design websites, or build apps. And we basically help our audience grow their business so that they can support merchants.
Mm-hmm. And I also know that you love a chocolate stout beer, right?
I am a big craft beer lover. It's true, and I particularly love stout beers. I'm a fan. There's no doubt.
It's not usual, you know. So, is it bitter despite of the chocolate?
The chocolate sweetens it, but I kind of like bitter beers as well. But there's something about stout that just makes my heart sing. And then when you add the chocolate, it's just really adding all the things that I love to consume when I'm being naughty, of course.
Sounds delicious. Okay,
yes.
So let me start with the first question.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a huge pain point for every business owner, how to attract visitors to your website, right? And I know it's a very wide question, as we can mention all types of marketing that will help you to bring customers to your website. But what if I'm just starting my business and want to see the results as fast as possible, and I have limited financial and time resources? Are there strategies that will help me to bring customers to my website?
Yeah, of course. And as you mentioned, there's lots of different ways that you can attract clients. But I think when you're just starting out, there's three things that really come to mind. One is having a strong brand identity. One is doing a little bit of marketing, as you kind of mentioned. And one is making sure you have a strong website. So to start with strong brand identity, I think this isn't really just, a brand isn't deciding on what a pretty logo looks like or what your business looks like visually. I think this really comes down to, what does your company stand for? And you can kind of define this by asking yourself three really important questions. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you building this business? And why do you get up every single morning and open up your virtual or bricks and mortar shop? Why do you do those things? And I would encourage people to think about, when you're answering these questions, what makes you unique? What is it about your business that's different from your competitors? And then once you kind of have that brand identity down, that's, those answers are your brand. They are what make you you. They're your raison d'être, if you will, And so I think the next step really is that you need to learn how to pitch that brand identity. Mm-hmm. So if you can explain to a client or a friend or a potential customer your brand, your business within, 30 seconds, less than a minute, then you're doing really well, because the idea really is that if other people can easily remember what you're all about, then they can tell others about you, right? And then you have a little series of brand ambassadors that are helping you get new clients. So that's number one. Number two is marketing. There's lots of different ways to do marketing. You can do blog posts, you can send out a newsletter, you can do PR with local newspapers or business magazines. There's lots of different ways. But I think when you're just starting out, you don't have a lot of money, the easiest way to kind of jump on that bandwagon is to really look at social media. Pick a site, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or really any site that you think your audience lives. So if you have a niche audience you're trying to sell to, go to them. If it's Reddit, if it's Tumblr, whatever it is, create a profile, start there. I would suggest, especially when you're first starting out, pick one, maybe two maximum if you really feel strongly about it. It's a lot of work. It's more work than you think it's going to be. And social media sites, social media profiles and pages that do well are ones that are well maintained. So focus all your energy in one spot to start. I think it'll do you best if you focus in that way. And so once you've kind of set up your profile, I think the next step really is to make sure that you're curating good content. Obviously, it can't all just be promotional content. It can't all just be what's useful to you. You need to make sure you're putting out content that's useful to everyone that's reading it, right? Mm-hmm. So a good rule for this is the 30-60-10 rule. So you're going to do 10% promotional for your business, 60% curated content, so content that you found around the internet that you think will be useful, educational, or interesting for users or potential customers, and 30% your own content, so content that you define, that you create that's educational or helpful or inspiring to your audience. And you want to make sure you're sharing content that's useful and informative for everyone. So a couple of quick and dirty helpful tips about social media. Use lots of images. Emojis are always great. Don't overdo it. But people that find that boosts like that social conversation. Pin your best performing tweet to the top of your profile, your best performing post. It always helps people show that there's some social proof that you're doing a good job of your business, which can always help get you new eyeballs. And I think also if you're looking to kind of boost the amount of people that are tuned into your social media site, a great idea is to run a contest or a giveaway. People love free stuff. The low barrier to entry is to like your page. Let's say if it's on Facebook, that's a really easy way of getting new people into your clutches so that you can then feed them amazing content and some promotional stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but I still have to ask you one question about the brand personality, brand identity, brand mission, because I think it's a very important thing that you said that it should be the first thing that every company starts. And I have impression that all people have a problem with it, because they design a website and they want to start selling immediately without thinking about the general picture of their company. Would you have a couple of suggestions how to come out, with a perfect idea with the brand identity or personality?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think that you can't put the cart before the horse, right? That old adage. You need to understand why you are doing what you're doing. And I think those questions that I suggested about really like truly dig deep and figure out like, why are you building this business in the first place? I think taking the time, sometimes it's talking it out with a friend or someone that you trust. Sometimes it's writing yourself a letter. Like, some people think better when they're writing. Having that one-liner or two-liner about who you are and the business you represent, that will serve you so well going forward, because there's no hesitation. You know where you're going. You know who you are. And that's really important in business. One of the things we talk about at Shopify a lot is we really like to talk about making commerce better for everyone. And that's something that if you kind of go through the Shopify website, you'll really see that shine through. Like, we want to help merchants sell better. We want to make sure everyone can be an entrepreneur if they want that goal, that dream. So I think when you look at those big companies that are doing it well, you'll know within a few seconds of landing on their website what they're all about.
You also mentioned website design. And is it something that also helps to attract customers?
Oh my gosh, it's so important. And there's a couple of things here. There's strong websites, and then there's the good design principles. So I think there's two ways of looking at this that I'll go through. One is I think a strong website is a website that helps potential clients turn into lifelong customers. And so I'm talking about a website that not only helps users understand your brand and who you are, but that also lets them clearly know that you can that they can trust your business. There's so many online businesses these days, and it's not just the is this a scam? Is what they're promising me on their webpage what I'm really going to get? And I think there are a few ways to kind of build that trust, and that will get you new clients. A couple things to think about to make a strong website: social proof. That means getting a satisfied customer to write testimonials, linking to positive product reviews, or even getting your biggest fan to record how happy they are with their purchasing experience with you. Those are all really great ways of doing social proof. You can also link to press coverage or any awards received. Another really good idea is to include a good frequently asked questions page. I think that this helps answers questions in an upfront and straightforward manner for your users, and it also alleviates any purchasing anxieties. Information, say you want a return policy, that's not necessarily information you're going to keep on your product page. So having a solid and well-placed frequently asked questions page or section of your blog or your website is really important. And then finally, a really well-designed website. This is so important, and it's not just about well-designed. Also doesn't mean just something that's pretty or nice to look at. It means something that users can get around easily, that they can navigate. They know, they can understand quickly what you're all about and how to actually use your product or find information that they need. So then, and I always say, some of the worst mistakes I've seen are flashing pop-ups.
Yeah, I love them.
When you find those examples, you just want to keep them as don't do this. I think it's, to be honest, at the end of the day, there's all kinds of things you shouldn't be doing, but let's focus on what you should be doing, because I think that will help give you a good idea. And I think keep in mind while I'm talking about these things that your website is your business card. So you really need to think about deciding with care and some really good research behind you on how to actually design it, because it's so important for getting new clients. So 3 things to keep in mind, okay? Really important. And they're all about clarity and being clear and not using flashing pop-ups and flashing buttons. Don't do that, okay? Number 1, clear focus. So as soon as someone lands on your page, on your website, they should understand what you're all about. They should be able to understand your brand identity. Remember that we just talked about? They need to be able to see that or read that within seconds. So you can communicate what you're all about, what your products are all about, with a high resolution image, nice content or copy that engages users. So a really good example of this is Skype. Skype's webpage, as soon as you land on their page, it's one large image that captures your focus right away, and the copy says, "Skype keeps the world talking for free." And it also includes a clear call to action button. Within seconds of arriving on their website, you know what the product is, how much it costs, and how to complete the action of getting Skype. That's exactly what you're aiming to do. That's so important. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And by the way, I'm not an expert, but as far as I know, there is a scheme of a website that every website designer should follow. So, for example, that you have the navigation bar at the top of the screen, that you have logo in the top left or contact in top right. Is it a good path to follow?
Obviously, that's what we see a lot. And I don't think there's conventional wisdom behind that. I think it depends on what you're selling, who you are, what your brand identity is. I think it's more important that user experience is favored over being flashy or trendy. I think you'll get more clients and keep more clients if they know how to use your website and how to navigate it clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually kind of brings me to another point that I was going to bring up was a clear path to checkout. This is
is so important, right?
It's so important. important, and it's just, and I see people tripping up on this so much. So I think it's really easy for, it needs to be like the easiest thing in the world for a user to come to your website, pick a product, and buy it. There is nothing more important, and it is the number one thing you should be focusing on getting your users to do, right? Because you're in e-commerce now. You need to sell things to make a living. And so I think what I see a lot of times is merchants get caught up in these other asks, like follow me on Twitter, share this cool thing I'm doing on social media, or sign up for my newsletter. And those aren't bad. Like, that's great. But the thing is, you can't lose sight of what your main purpose is. You want people to buy above all else. Mm-hmm. So your button should be clear. Your add to cart button should be super clear. It should be the thing that draws the most attention, I think. And it shouldn't be competing with other elements or visuals on your product page, especially. So a really great example of this is Frank Body. It's a Australian skincare website. Really easy to find. And what's awesome about this website is it demonstrates a bit of that. It's not only easy to navigate and buy, it's fun. Like, it's such a fun website with lots of beautiful product photography, lots of fun copy that's quirky and really represents their brand well. But when you go onto their product page, you see the ease. Like, you see the name of the product, you see a nice photo, you see a little description. The add to cart button is the most prominent thing about the product. You click on it and it says go to cart. You now easily can access your cart. These are things that not only make it easy for me to spend my money, but now I want to spend my money because look how pretty this button is. Like, seriously, it's so important. And so, yeah, it makes it a winner in my eyes, to be honest, when you can do that, when you can do those two things.
Yeah, fantastic.
And then my last point is clear navigation. And we've talked about this already, about how it's so important for users to be able to kind of go around your different go around different parts of your website. I think it's really based on making sure your pages are well organized and in a way that makes sense to your users. So a good way, I'm biased, obviously, because I work for Shopify, but I also really love our website. I think it's so clear, the navigation. You see our topic tags at the top of the page. You see a nice drop-down menu. It's not too cluttered, kind of follows that traditional setup for a web page we talked about earlier, Justina. Now, Shopify obviously has lots of resources because it's a larger company. So if you're just starting out, but you want to kind of test out to see if your assumptions about how to organize your web page make sense, a really good way and a really simple way is just ask your friends and family to navigate your site while you watch and take notes on where they stumble. Give them a specific information they need to find or a task they need to complete and watch. If you have a bit more of a larger client base, reach out to them, offer them incentives, offer them a gift card to chat with them for a half an hour on the phone or to get them to fill out a survey. And if you're a little bit more technologically advanced, consider tools that record how users interact with your website. One tool that comes to mind is Lucky Orange. Great tool. Love using it. It'll give you such great insight, not only about where your users are stumbling in terms of your navigation, but it'll help you with things like checkout and other aspects of your website that users might be having a hard time with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that it's a very, very nice idea to ask your friends. And I just thought that if your mother is able to navigate through your website and buy something, then it's good. It's user-friendly.
Exactly, right? That's it. That's exactly the thought process behind it. So you don't need a lot of money to do user research. You can do it on your own.
Yes, exactly. All right. So thank you very much for this chat. It was really, really fun. And thanks so much.
Thank you. It was fun talking with you, Justina.
Business Sidekick.
Alright, that's all for today. Thanks for listening. If you want to catch up with the next episode of Business Sidekick, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels and give us thumbs up if you like Business Sidekick. I wish you a flood of new visitors on your websites and irresistible brand identities. Take care.
This podcast was brought to you by LiveChat.